Welcome to another episode of Let's Get Real with 7 podcast. Today, my guest is, I'll let him introduce himself.
Michael Champion Fatina. It's just Michael Fatina.
Alright, before we actually get into the actual topic that I want to talk about, let's tell the people how we know each other. So,
you sure you want them to know?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean my shit? So we met each other 2012?
No, man.
Well, no, we actually started building a relationship like in 2012. I knew you before 2012? That. Yeah, because I think I was a sophomore in high school.
Gosh, yeah. I thought, oh yeah, because she must have been 3.
Yeah, she was still very young.
Okay, yeah. So, I just remember running into you in the gym, you and your older brothers. This soft, shy, nervous kid. And you asked me how to like work on your jump shot.
Yeah. Because back then you had a better jump shot than me. Now, yeah.
Let's start the show off right. No, and then and then I was like, oh gosh, another one, you know. But then the spirit, God was like, okay, just let's work with this. You know, I don't know, like God was pulling on my heart. So I showed you, gave you some pointers, and I remember telling you, like, if you want to work on it, if you want to work on your game, I'll meet you up here and we can put work in. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time, because I would help kids here and there. Yeah. But no, you would tell them something, and then they would come back and be like, just completely forget about what you showed them. Mm-hmm. Like, team, I know you're watching, bro. And so I watched you one day. I was in there, it was like a couple days later, and I watched you, and you were still working on exactly what I told you. Mm-hmm. And you didn't know that I was watching you. Yeah. And then that's when I was like, okay, he's serious about it. Like, he really wants it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we got a long road. I mean, if you ever seen him hoop back then, 2012, it was, it was a long road. But, yeah, man, and I just remember telling you, let's do this, I'm ready. And I just remember you calling me early in the freaking morning, 4:30 in the morning, like, are we ready? And I was like, no, I'm not ready, but yeah, let's do it.
No, here's how I remember it going. I believe I saw you in the gym and you were playing with Moses and them. Like, mm-hmm. You guys hardly ever let me really play. And whenever I did play, I would always be just passing the ball. And I saw how well you were playing. And I think I came up to you, I was like, hey, man, can you, like, train me in basketball or whatever? Mm-hmm. And then you showed me some pointers and you showed me what to do. And you told me, you're like, yeah, I'll train you. But, like, I had heard that from so many people. I really didn't believe you. And then so I went home that night. And then you called me. Yeah, because we exchanged numbers, and you called me, and then you were like, I don't know why, but I feel like the Spirit's telling me that I need to train you. It was almost like you didn't. It was almost like you didn't want to.
I tell them all the time I didn't want to,
but you felt called to, like, in the sense of, like, spiritually. And so you were like, we'll go at 5 a.m. I'm not sure if you meant it, but then I called you. I was like, hey, so we're gonna work out?
I probably was like testing you, like, oh, there ain't no way. God, if he wants it, if this is yours, he'll call me, but I know he don't want it, so. Yeah. Okay.
So that makes sense. So the next morning I called you, and you're like, you just seemed surprised, but you're like, yeah, let's go. And you came and scooped me up, and that was like, that's how it all began.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Okay, so, go ahead.
I remember I didn't want to, though. No, it was not that I didn't want to, because I love the game, and I loved your family, and I'd known Moses since, for a long time, but it was, I was a young dad, and barely married, and didn't even know, I had so much going on. I was in school, and so I knew it was going to be, a sacrifice on my side, to go through that. But for whatever reason, I felt God pulling me and telling me this is something that I want you to do. So listen.
Let's hit on that. Like, you're a new father, as you was about 3 years old at this time. You're just married. You're still young.
Yeah.
You still have a lot of potential to do your own thing, aka still go play somewhere else yourself, because you were still really good back then. You're a little slower now, not as quick, but back then you easily could have went and played somewhere. What is it that made you even want to like not just train me, but 5 a.m? Like, you still had a family to try to take care of, but we would sometimes go twice a week. I mean, not twice a week, twice a day. And work out like every day, twice a day. And I'm like, yo, like, this man has his own family, but he's still sacrificing the time. What is it? Why did you decide that you wanted to do that?
I think for me, one, I have such a fear of God.
Mm-hmm.
So when he tells me to move, like, I'm afraid to not move. And then I always wish that I had someone to guide me in basketball. So like when I just remember growing up, spending so many hours working on my game.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to work on my game.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I just kind of wish I had that for me, and I felt like it was just a good fit. I felt like God was telling me, this is what I want you to do, and I didn't know why, and I kind of felt called to do it, man. And then just watching you grow, and just watching the progress, and not just watching the progress on the court, but just watching you grow as a young man. It just, I fell in love with that, and then just wanted to take care of you and take you under my wing.
But to me, it still like blows my mind, because you're basically taking in a kid I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Most kids, like if you see potential, they're probably a freshman or an 8th grade. You're like, oh, this kid's about to be something. Like, but you saw a kid who really couldn't really play or anything like that. You still chose that. You were basically almost taking your time without even knowing what the outcome would become.
I think for me, this might be, I don't know that I've ever told you this, but I didn't know what the outcome was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if you were going to play basketball. I didn't know if you were going to become something, whether it was going to be college. I didn't even see that, right? Mm-hmm. All I knew was, I guess what I knew for me was basketball helped me stay out of trouble, right? Mm-hmm. And it helped, and I knew that if I could teach you how to work hard on the court and to push through those times when it was tough and you didn't want to keep going, that it would change you in life. Mm-hmm. And that you would be able to push through those times in life. For me, it was basketball, but it was more like, where were you going to be as a man and as a person just seeking God's will for your life?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah. It makes it answer as best as you feel like you can answer at that point.
Yeah.
But so you and I actually recently talked about the whole journey and my personality, how it's evolved throughout the years that I've known you, in the sense of like you met a shy little fragile kid who wasn't really outspoken or talked a lot, and then now we're both sitting here and we're doing a podcast together. What is it? What did that for me? Like I told you, it kind of like. It's been through the people that have mentored me and helped me throughout my life that subconsciously I kind of took on their trait, and you're one of the main reasons. Like you were always an extrovert, outgoing, talking to everybody. You were kind, you were respectful, but you always knew how to help the next person. And so for me, like subconsciously, like I was around you, I still was really quiet, but I picked up some of your like characteristic traits. Like why is it so important for you, for whenever I was around you, for you to treat others? I don't know if you did this on purpose or not, but the way you like interacted with other human beings, even the people that I knew personally that you did not like or wanted to interact with, you still treat them with respect and kindness. What's the reasoning behind that?
Fear of God.
Okay.
But like when you decide to mentor someone or be a brother or a father figure, you want to, at least my goal is to represent Christ as best I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, the fear of God is strong in me. That started young, and it's just, it kind of, that fear that I have, that love and fear that I have of Him drives me to I guess in every aspect of life. you know, when it came to mentoring you and trying to help you become something, I guess I didn't know it so much at the time, but you know, it's like when you have a positive mindset, I feel like it's contagious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I just wanted you and your brothers to see, you know, positivity no matter what we were going through. I think I kind of even shielded you from stuff that was going on in my own personal life.
Yeah.
You know, just to be positive and to I don't know, I just needed to, for whatever reason, I just felt I needed to be that for you guys.
Yeah. All right, I'm about to be honest with you for like a split second. So, you know, after my freshman year of college, right, I came back home and we didn't put in as much work as we used to before. And I was extremely mad at you. Like, I was so angry because I was like, man, like, because I went my freshman year and I played pretty well. Like, circumstances could have been differently, but I was like, back in my head, I was like, man, like, I had an alright freshman year, but if I go back home and start training with Mike again, next season's going to be it. And then I come back home and you're extremely busy and we don't get to train as much. We saw each other once in a while and I was extremely upset. And I want to personally apologize for that aspect of it because just recently I graduated and then I came back home and I got a job and I saw how busy I was with the little amount of time that I was able to, like, I'm able to have now, and still somehow you found a way to always make time for me. And I just want to tell you, I'm truly sorry, bro, and I apologize, like, because you don't know anybody's like circumstances until you get put in them. And the thing for me, it's just me. Like, I don't have a kid, I don't have nobody to take care of. I don't have a wife that I have to worry about. And still, you've always found time to train me, spend time with me, mentor me, just be a friend, brother, whatever it is you want to call it. And I'm sorry and I'm grateful for that. So thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Right. So what I would say to that is something that I've always struggled with is telling people no.
Yeah.
Right? And I knew that you were going to lean on me, and I was trying, like, I don't know if you remember these conversations that we would have. I would drop it in every once in a while, like, there's only so much you could take from a coach or a mentor before you have to move on. And I felt like, yes, I can give you the skills or I can make you do this or that, but there's only so much you can take from me.
Yeah.
And so all this kind of, like, I guess I would have to rewind first. So when you came back, like, I wanted to with my whole heart.
Yeah.
But this goes, like, into my life, the part that I shielded from you, right? And so I had just become a nurse.
Yeah.
And I was working in the pediatric ED. I was working nights. I was working 3-4 nights a week. My wife was working, and this is when we were struggling, my wife and I, in our relationship.
Yeah.
And so she was working in the daytime. Okay. So, and then I was also working on both my master's degrees. And then I had my oldest daughter, and then my second daughter. And so there'd be times when I would go 3-4 days without sleep.
Yeah.
Working through the night, and then trying to find time to make it.
Yeah.
And then my wife April was working in the daytime. So, like, I just was so lost, you know? And so then as a man, I should have been like, you know what? I can be there as much as I'll be there when I can. But this is what you should do, or maybe you should, I could have handled it differently. I didn't want to let go because I wanted to be there and help you and mentor you, but I was just so lost.
Yeah.
And I think, and then from there, I just, I was prideful at work, and I was growing in my career, and that's a whole nother story.
No, and the thing is, like, man, I felt like now that I came back home and I started, like, I'm working, it's only one job and it's not that many, it's an 8-hour job, and I still feel like I don't have enough hours in a day. I was like, I was selfish back then. Like, I was so ungrateful because you already had taken, what was it, from my sophomore year to my freshman year of college, so let's say 3-4 years, it was nonstop. You were there for me. We were always training, we were always working, and I was always growing. And then I think, because you had, like you said, you always threw it in there, like, hey, Seth, like, you're going to have to learn how to work on, like, yourself. Like, you're going to have to be able to make yourself better. Like, there's only so much, like, I've given you, like, all I can give you at this point. And so you would always say that, but, like, in my mind, I was like, he's always going to be there. Like, I never really took that into account. And I noticed that, like, after my second, my third, and my fourth year of college, I was like, dang, like, he was for real about this. And so for me, I should have been able to mature and not really, like, relied like, all of me in you. Like, yes, if we got to work out, that's cool, but I should have been able to, as a man myself, like, figure out something on my own to get better.
Well, that's the beauty of it, man. Because guess what?
What?
You know now.
That's true.
Okay, maybe in basketball, it took basketball for you to get, to get to where you're at. Like, basketball, you can look at it as a failure. I look at it as a success, right?
Yeah.
But look where we're at.
Yeah.
Look what you're doing.
That's true.
You're here by yourself.
That's very true.
All right? And I remember, I would always say, you're only going to be as good as hard as you work when you're alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And look where you're at, man. Who's going to post this video? I ain't going to do it. Right?
All right, I got you.
So, there were speed bumps, but my goal wasn't basketball. It was, where can you be? Where are you going to go as a man, as a young man, coming from the story that you have in your family?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just blown away by all this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at how far you've come.
And
you know what I'm
I
saying?
have people like you to thank for that, for sure.
Jesus, bro. Jesus.
Okay, so that's actually perfect. A great segue to what I wanted to talk about next is Jesus. Do you mind sharing how you came to Christ? I know, but there's a point that I need you. There's a reason why I need you to share this aspect of it. Like, so can you first tell people how you came to Christ, and that story in itself.
It's a beautiful story. It's like, just get ready. It might make you cry. No. So I grew up in a house that wasn't super Christian. We went to like a little church on the street, down the street, maybe once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My mom planted seeds here and there, but she didn't really have a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
And I grew up across the street from the Rentros, who are family to me.
Yeah.
And I remember one day when we were younger, Chaz hated me. I don't know if he sees this or not, but
I don't know. But if he does,
but he hated me for whatever reason when we were younger, And so I see them outside. They were across the street from me.
Yeah.
And so I see them going outside, and they're all getting into their vehicle, and I'm like, oh, let me go play or whatever. I think I was 7 maybe.
Mm.
And I'm like, where are you guys going? And Chaz was like, oh, we're going to get our names put in the Book of Life. And I was like, what's the Book of Life?
Wait, question, were they playing when they said that?
I'm sure he was. I don't know.
Were they going to church? Or
I'm sure he was going to church, or maybe he was going to the store. I don't know. But I don't know where they went.
Yeah, okay.
But he was like, yeah, we're going. And I was like, what's the Book of Life? And he's like, oh, if your name's not in the Book of Life, you go to hell. And I was like, oh, that's scary. Like, okay, so in my mind, I'm a 7-year-old. I'm like, the Book of Life must be downtown Phoenix. Like, can you guys wait? I'm going to get my family. We're all going to load in the vehicle. Do I need a pen, marker, what, crayons? Like, I just need to write my name. Like, how am I going to get my name and my family's name in this book?
Yeah.
Because we ain't going to hell. And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure you're going to hell. Your name's not in the book. And I was like, I was freaking out. Like, I don't want to go to hell. And so, God used that crazy story, and I went home, and I had one of those little books, but it was just enough. My first Bible, with a white Jesus on it. And I was like, let me read this thing.
Yeah.
And as a 7-year-old, and one day I read the whole book, and it, I was like, I need to know God.
Yeah.
And then just from there, I was like, God, I was so afraid that I had this fear of God.
Yeah.
And not like fear of the dark or of monsters, but like, wow, he really has the power to say yes or no, to give life or to take it.
Yeah.
And it all is up to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a 8, 9-year-old, I just, for whatever reason, just understood the glory and the mercy and grace of God.
Yeah.
And so, that's how I got to know him. And then from there, I just built my relationship every day, just praying and trying to get my name in that book.
Okay, so now let's talk about, well, first and foremost, the fear of God isn't a bad thing, as we know. If
No.
like that's the first step of like true wisdom, is knowing.
That's a beautiful scripture, man.
Yeah, and so like,
hold on, can I find that?
Oh yeah, go ahead. You can find it.
Yeah, dude.
P.S. He has an Android. That's why.
There it is. Okay, so this is Psalms 9:10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Doesn't that just give you chills?
No, it does. No, for real. And the thing for me too, like as I've been growing with my spiritual growth, I guess you could call it, just understanding that scripture and not saying like you have to fear God isn't like he's a bad guy, but fearing God is actually a good thing in the sense of like once you understand how great and how powerful and how amazing His grace, understanding His love, His patience towards you, then you're like, oh my gosh, like how can I not want to serve that God?
I think for me, the understanding of fear helps you appreciate grace.
Yeah.
And so if you don't fear God, then you can't fully appreciate grace, and you can't fully appreciate His sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And so for me, without fear of Him, you can't fully understand His grace and His mercy. And that's the beginning, man. That's where it all starts. That's where my faith starts. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. Let's talk more about the way you came to know Christ and how that was a struggle for you in a sense, because like you and I were talking, because most of the time when someone tells you, hey, this is how I found Christ, it's this dramatic thing. Man, like I was on my deathbed and it was my last prayer. I was like, God, I need you. And then He came. And so a lot of people feel like they have to go through that aspect of it to be able to receive Christ. Can you please kind of touch on like your struggles with that aspect of it?
Yeah.
And like now as you've been growing in your spirituality, like what do you know now?
So for me, I think like when I was younger, I used to struggle with like this thought like I don't have this great crazy testimony, and I didn't like have a near-death experience, and I didn't see an angel coming out of the clouds, But so I always struggle with like always as a I don't know, the only like true real believer in my house, not just feeling like I never chose Jesus. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like I felt like I never chose God, and so I like never was like this crazy sinner, and I was like not a thief and a murderer, though I have some stories, but not murder, okay? But
hey, you can share those like as comfortable as you are. Share those stories, man.
Yeah. Whatever. I was a thief, but we can get into that. But I think as I've grown older and in my walk with Christ, I've learned that, and the beauty of it is that God chose me, mm-hmm. and how blessed I am that He chose me at such a young age to plant seeds and try to water as much as I could, whether it be my family or other people that I know.
And I think that's a beautiful thing about Christ, is that we don't gotta choose. Like we never chose Him really. He chose us before we even thought about following Him. And so even if you didn't know back then, the fact that you did like make the decision that you want to follow Him, because I could have ended up with a different trainer who was just a jerk who taught me, like he persuaded me to go to a different path. Right. But I think in God's grace and God's mercy, He found a way to bring two people who not only were they working on their faith, but just wanted to trust Him and fully understand who He was, and somehow He brought you to me and me to you in a sense. Yeah. And so if you never made that decision, then who knows how this relationship would end up turning out? You know what I'm saying?
I probably wouldn't have been there.
Honestly.
I mean, I was the kid that always was getting into trouble just as a young kid, and stealing. And I remember one time just stealing and being bad, and then having different opportunities to, whether it be sell drugs or just choose a different life. Yeah. But having that fear of God just in the back of my head always drove me, right? Yeah. And that's what brought our paths together. Because if I didn't have that fear of God, I would have made much worse choices. Like, yes, I was a dad at 19, and I was a thief and had been arrested a couple times. I always had that fear of God to like bring me back and to refocus me. And yeah, man, I think I've told you this before, but I think at that time I needed you just as much as you needed me. And it helped me focus, and it helped me become a better dad, and learned how to kind of, overcome those obstacles, and I've used that as, in my day-to-day walk with my kids. So.
I would like for you, because I think you're a great example in a sense. Let's talk about relationship-wise. When it comes to you and your wife in that sense, because like you were saying, you guys did go through a little bit of ups and downs through the relationship, went from your jobs and all that stuff. Can you talk about how important was Christ through it all? For those people out there that are in a marriage and things are looking iffy and they're scared and like they don't know what to do and how to go about it. Like, how important is Christ in that situation?
I mean, if it weren't for Jesus, we wouldn't be married. I lost my way a little bit. I always seem to lose my way, but God's like, hey, wake up. But what a beautiful, loving God. I'm just so grateful that he loves me enough to humble me and to discipline me. Because without that, we wouldn't be married.
Yeah.
I think, I'm just a man, and I know what my weaknesses are.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of, when I understand when I'm not focused on Christ, I start leaning, or my path starts swaying, right? And the same with my wife. And then what I think the primary thing that gave us struggles in our marriage was, and I tell young people this all the time that are married, even older people, it's, for me, I wasn't allowing God's love to be enough for me. So I was constantly trying to fill this cup that I have with my wife's love. And it's never enough. So then I was constantly pulling from her.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, she didn't love me. She didn't care about me. She didn't, because God's love was never enough, and my cup always needed to be refilled.
Yeah.
And likewise, she was always trying to fill her cup with my love. And so when you don't allow God's love to be enough, it may not be 1 year, may not be 2 years, but over time, it literally, looking back, I can just see the wedge just growing and growing. And it drove us apart, trying to love her too much, or her love me too much, instead of letting God be the focus.
Yeah.
And so our crazy story, and after I lost everything, we're together now, and that's a crazy story if you want to hear one. But just allowing God's love to be enough will save a marriage, and it will make a marriage beautiful, just like God wants it to be. That's the point of being married. We're not all called to be married.
Can you hit more on that?
I mean, it's all life, in my opinion, and when I read the word, that's what I pick up, is it's all about glorifying God.
Yeah.
And getting to know Christ, and trying to bring that knowledge and that love to as many people as possible. And one of the biggest things that human beings struggle with is there's a lot of things that marriage helps with, but being married is supposed to help those that are weak stay focused on Christ. So when you can't stay focused on Christ yourself, that's where a marriage is. That's what God, I think, made marriage for, is to help both of you focus on Christ.
Can you kind of go back? So we're talking about the love of God, him basically being almost the center of the relationship. So can you kind of hit on people that are ready to be in a relationship now, or ready to get married? Just a little bit more on the importance of you figuring out, having God's love for you instead of trying to get that love from the other person, and how during that time, how unintelligent it is to get in a relationship because you're trying to fill the void that only one human being one person can fill, which is
So you mean people that are already married, or people that are thinking about becoming married.
Thinking, or not just to get married, to get in a relationship, in a sense, too.
Yeah, man, I think when you...
Let me ask you this way. What is it that you wish you could have worked on yourself before you got married that you think would have helped you in your relationship?
Simple. It's that knowledge of letting God's love be enough.
Okay, but
and that's an easy thing to say, right?
Okay, I was about to say, okay.
Oh yeah, God's love is enough. No, right? It has to be intentional, right? So the way I've been working on it myself, and I'm not an expert, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's been helping my marriage. And so, like, if we get into an argument, or if I get that thought, like, oh, she doesn't love me, or she's angry, or whatever it is, I intentionally step aside and take time to pray and tell God, your love is enough for me. And then it helps me to to understand, no matter how much she loves me, no matter what she does, it will never be enough, and God's love is enough. And then you have to be comfortable with that, right? As a human being, it's difficult. It takes time. But I've noticed the more and more that I do that, and the more and more that she does that, we're able to come back together and let like the pride go and the anger go. So we're able to have a conversation, a loving conversation, and to be able to kind of work it out. Because then we both have this understanding, like, okay, no matter how much you mess up, no matter how much you make me mad, God's love is enough for me. So I'm trying to get my point across to you, like, hey, this is why I'm mad. Those arguments will never go anywhere. And so when you have that, oh, God's love is enough for me, and it's just like a buffer. It's like a healing thing. So
break down God's love is enough for me. What does that mean to you, in a sense? That God's love, because that's so broad, because God is so many different things to everyone in different seasons of their life. What does it mean when you say God's love is enough for you in your relationship?
So for me,
or in just everyday life,
you're just pulling it out of it. No, so I think that brings me back to when I was 21, and I was about to have I did have my second kid. Right. Nehemiah. And while April was pregnant, we found out that he was going to have a heart defect. And so, as a young man, I thought I was grown. Like, I thought I knew it all. Okay. And then I got hit with, oh, he's going to have a heart defect, and okay, we'll get over that. Praying and thinking that, oh, because I'm faithful and I love Jesus, if I pray, I'm going to get my way.
Right.
And my son was born. We thought, okay, he's okay. You know, he still has his heart defect. We'll take him home. He's going to have surgery. Everything's going to be okay. And then, you know, he was home with us for a month. You know, he got sick, and then we took him back to the hospital, and he wound up passing away. And so, in that maybe week period after he died, I was like, I didn't struggle, but like I had like this revelation of like, okay, I prayed, like, and I'm faithful, like, you love me, God, right? So why didn't you heal my son? And so what I understood in that moment was God gave his son for me. Someone that stole, lusted, that was selfish, prideful, didn't read the word, didn't pray, claimed to love him and claimed to know him, right? But you gave your son for me. That is love. He must really love me. Because I wouldn't have given my son for anything. Matter of fact, I would have died for my son. So then that made me understand God's love. And so when I have those moments where I'm looking at my wife and I'm like, okay, you know, we're arguing about chicken, or where do you want to go eat? Oh, I don't know, you tell me. No, just tell me where you want to go eat. Stupid. I'm like, she don't love me. She won't tell me she wants Filiberto's.
Yeah.
And so I just have to like be conscious of, okay, God, you've brought me through so much. You've done so much. You've had mercy and grace on me and given me this day. You gave your son for me, and you showed me what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
Your love is enough.
Yeah.
Your love is enough. You love me. You created the universe and all the stars and the sea and the earth and everything in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know me. You know me. A stupid kid from Peoria, Arizona. And you love me enough that you gave your son for me. That's enough. And it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're filling your cup up with other things, whether it's basketball or a relationship or it's video games or whatever, that's sad,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for the marriage thing, that's, for us, it saved me, but it can work for anything in relationships. If you get into that book, and understand God's love, like you're winning even when you're losing. You can't lose. You know what I'm saying? I hope that answered your question. No. It's a long answer.
No, I did not think you were going to go into and I didn't mean to pull that. No,
man.
But I think that's going to help. That's going to help someone for sure.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people, everybody thinks they're ready for marriage, man. But, no one ever expects something like that to happen.
You're not ready. You are not ready. Whoever's listening, you're not ready. Unless you know Jesus and He is enough for you, you ain't ready. And let him be enough.
Because I feel like no one you don't say I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna have a kid, and then they're gonna end up passing. No one is prepared for something like that.
That's the one thing you asked me a little bit, what do I think I wish I could have done, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think my relationship, God, I was an insecure little jerk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like I trapped my wife. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I was 18 years old. I knew what I was doing, and I didn't care. Yeah. I was like, well, she gets pregnant, she's mine forever. So, and I just didn't care. I didn't have a sense of consequence,
Yeah.
And so, though I don't regret it, and it changed me as a person, which that's another part of my testimony. I just wish I would have had a stronger foundation in Him. I wish I would have known who I was as a person and then been more prepared for my children. Mm-hmm. But God is so good.
Yeah.
And He was like, wake up, dude. You about to be a dad. That same gym that we met in.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you this. I found out April was pregnant. I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I was young. And I was not devastated, but I was scared, and so I was like, well, I'm selling drugs just like everybody else.
Wait, are you?
I'm so for real. I had been calling, I'm not going to put any names out, I'm ready to do this, let's just do it, because I don't know how else I'm going to support my family.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was sitting in that gym and I was crying, because there's people in my life that I was like, I don't want to go down that road. And I was crying because I'd already kind of made that decision, and I was like, God, I'm so sorry. I'm lost and I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And this guy walks in, this big buff white dude, Jordan suit, everything. Back then, I love
Yeah.
I don't care about that now, but Jordan, everything. He had a Tahoe at 22, and I was like, he's the man, And we just started talking, and he was like, I'm a nurse. And I was 18, 19, and I was like, so you're gay or what? No, no, I don't have anything,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's cool. He must be gay and he's a nurse. That's just my stupid, ignorant mindset,
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, and I make $25 an hour. Okay. I was like, so you're rich, right? In my mind back then, I wanted to be just and I love my dad. My mom and dad planted great seeds in me to motivate and push. So it's nothing against them, right? And I understand, and I that's more. But I just wanted to be like my dad. Like, okay, I'll make $12, $15 an hour, and I'll be set. Like, I thought that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be set. So when he told me he was $25 an hour, I was like, I'm gonna buy my mom a car. I'm gonna get her a house. I'm gonna do it all. $25 an hour. I'm about to be rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
So literally that day, I called Grand Canyon and I was like, I want to be a nurse. Whatever I got to do, I want to be a nurse. Thinking I'm about to hit the lottery.
Yeah. Which you are now.
I am.
Yeah.
So then I went home and I told April, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a nurse. And she was like, well, I'm going to do it with you. So we did it together.
Yeah.
And my oldest was born just before we started our prereqs. And then, yeah, man, that was crazy. I forget the question though.
No, I'm pretty sure you answered it somewhere in there.
Okay, good. We'll go back. We'll rewind and take a look in the cut. So
okay, so now that actually leads perfect into this one.
Yeah.
Next one. So your oldest one is born. I mean, yeah. So as he's born, right? You're still young. How what is your mindset like? How do you're still trying to provide? You're still trying to grow. How do you go about this? Like, this is a new territory for you. Like, you're having a whole kid. What does that process look like for you?
Shocking.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well,
scary.
Okay, scary.
Okay, first. I will tell you this. I was, you see the belly getting bigger, and you see the ultrasound pictures. Mm-hmm. It ain't real until you see the head coming out. Then you're like, there's no pause, there's no redo. This is it. There's a baby in there. This is happening. You know?
Yeah.
I was in shock. Mm-hmm. I just remember holding her legs up, and she's pushing. My wife is pushing for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's hard work. But I felt like I was more tired than her, just emotionally, like, what just happened? And that was the start. Like, well, you better get it going because you got a baby. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, I'd always kind of been like a father figure. I have nieces and nephews, and I wasn't a great uncle, and I was just a kid, but I think it prepared me a little bit. Like, I knew how to change diapers and feed a baby and all that. So, and then we had family support, which was huge. But man, you just learn every day. I'm still learning. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You can ask my daughter right now. She, he needs practice, and I do. I practice every day at being a dad. So yeah, nothing can prepare you, man. It's just I think reading the Word and staying focused on God, and then trying to raise them how you think God wants you to. Because there is no, you can buy a book. That's nonsense. Like, you just got to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me rephrase that. Don't get out there and have a baby. But if it happens,
you're just gonna. Okay. So last final thoughts here. So we talked about your youngest son who unfortunately passed away. Fast forward to last year.
Yeah.
Year
and a half. Yeah.
Year and a half.
You gonna ask me about my son, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good story.
Okay.
So.
Wait. So, man, can I ask a question?
My bad.
Okay, let's rewind to the last.
It just hits me, man. It hit me.
And I like that you're excited.
Okay.
But
no. I am excited, but it's emotional. Man. But go ahead.
Okay, so a year and a half ago, you find out you're having a son. Now, bam, go, take it away.
Okay, so let me rewind a little bit.
More, yeah. Do what you gotta do.
So, I'm a nurse, and in the ER, and I'm getting a big head about, I'm important or whatever. And I get my master's degrees, and now I'm managing an ER as a 25, 26-year-old, and I start losing my way. Right? I'm prideful, and I'm, just not honoring my wife the way I should have. And not honoring God. And losing focus, right? And so I lost everything. Like I had a beautiful home.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Jeep that I was in love with.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah. I bought a 300. I had my 3 daughters that were everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
I had the job that I loved, working with kids. I loved taking care of kids and saving kids, and but I needed to be humbled, and God kept like knocking up, like, hey, like you need to be humble, like, and I just kept like, oh, I am humble, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, surface level, I'm humble, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't, and so finally God had to humble me, and He took it all.
Mm-hmm.
My wife had filed for divorce.
Mm-hmm.
She took my children, which rightfully so. I wasn't able to see my kids. I lost my Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my 300. I lost my house. I was jobless and homeless.
Mm-hmm.
I had nowhere to go. Couldn't even go to my house.
Mm-hmm.
I had no clothes. I had 1 pair of shoes. It was as low as I could get.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I was devastated. I didn't want to get divorced. I was like, my God, like, what the heck? And so I had a dream. Actually, I had gotten the divorce papers, and that night I was crushed. But I had been praying and fasting, which I have my own opinions about fasting, and I think it should be a natural thing. But whatever.
You want to share that before you? What are your opinions on fasting? Because I think fasting is important as well.
Yes, I think some people, and I could be wrong about
fasting. First of all, definition of fasting for the people that don't.
So
know.
For me, it's when you give something up, whether it's food, basketball, video game, whatever, and you dedicate that time to God.
Okay.
See, but I think a lot of people use fasting as like a way to like tell God, hey, I want an answer.
Yeah.
Which, you know, maybe right, maybe not, but for me, fasting should be because you want to get to know God and be comfortable with His will, whatever the case may be.
Wow. And that's wow.
And for me, when I was fasting and I was praying, I had to let go. I had to let go of that situation and say, God, I just want your will in my life, in April's life, in my kids' life.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your will is, that's all I want. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm seeking. And then be comfortable with the result, because you know that that's the will of God.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, is what fasting is. And, you know, I think, you know, some people will have different thoughts and opinions, and that's fine, but that's, you know, that's what I think. But anyway, so I was fasting, not, you know, just because I had no choice, like I wasn't going to eat. I needed to pray, God, I'm sorry, I love you. Give me your will. It wasn't like, God, I'm not going to eat until you tell me.
Yeah.
And, you know, some, you know, it is what it is.
So
I was not eating and not doing anything, not sleeping, because I was so busy praying, like, God, I just wanted Him to know my heart. Even though I knew He did, I just needed, you know what I mean?
No, I feel you, bro.
So that night, after I'd gotten the divorce papers, which was the hardest thing, it was crazy. I was so unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
I had this dream of April and I were walking outside of a circus tent, and on the inside there was a bunch of people, and there was a boxing ring in the center, and there was a black fighter and a white fighter, and they were sitting at a table, and all these people were around it, going up into it like in a line, getting autographs from them. And April was like, go in and get our son. And I was like, okay. And so I went in and I was like, Lazarus. I kept calling Lazarus, and that wasn't my son's name. My son's name was Nehemiah.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my dream, a little boy walked up, and the little boy looked like my middle child, Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
He had freckles, a little light skin, curly hair, and he grabbed my hand and he told me, Dad, it's going to be okay. And I kept calling, so we were walking through this crowd, and I was like, Lazarus. Finally, this little 2-year-old, 3-year-old kid comes up, looked like my youngest daughter. And so I picked him up and put him on my shoulders, and then I went to grab the other little boy's hand, and he was gone. And then I walked out, and April and I walked off. So I woke up, I had a court order not to call April. I was not supposed to contact her at all. I was like, well, I got to tell her this dream.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this up to God, and, you know, whatever happens, happens. And so I called her, and I told her the dream. Actually, I think I even had, she didn't answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, by the grace of God, he softened her heart and opened her eyes and gave her a heart of forgiveness and understanding. And she, you know, we worked on things.
Mm-hmm.
The divorce, she scratched the divorce, and then, now here we are. I find out I'm about to have a son. And I was like, there's no way. Like, I'm about to have a son? I got 3 girls. Like, this ain't real. I still didn't believe it until I saw the head come out. I was like, okay, there's a baby. What else is in there? You know? And so, yeah, his name is Lazarus. And the name Lazarus means the Lord will restore.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah. And so that's a story right there. And I'm just, like I said before, man, I'm just so grateful that God loved me enough to humble me and to discipline me.
Yeah.
And then, here you are, doing big things, and I'm like, man, God is so good, man. Gave me a son, watching Seth and his brother grow up and to do crazy things, man. It's just wild.
It's funny because, like, you watched me grow up, but at the same time, I also watched you grow up. Because everything that you were saying right now, but like with the wife situation, like through the mess of that, once in a while, I'll be in those situations, like, and I'm truly grateful that everything worked out, because, like, I love both you and April and Azzy and the kids, man. I love to see where you're at right now, because there were times where you were really low, and that never helped me, but I tried my best to, like, stay as positive as I could, but I was so shy back then. I didn't know what to say. Yeah. I wish I could go back now and then maybe have some words of comfort for you. But I do remember those days, and I was like, man, like, I would always pray, like, God, please find a way to help Mike, like, and his wife.
Yeah, he did, bro.
He did, man. God is so good in just everything He does, and how, like we know, it's never in our time. It's always on His time, and God is just beautiful that way.
Even when I'm losing, I'm winning. I can't lose.
Well, okay, so to wrap it up, man. So you got a few things going on right now, man. Let's talk about that. I know that this is one of it.
Yeah. I'm working on. It's just I enjoy that creative process. Yeah. So my knees took it from me. I used to like to be creative on the court.
Hey, you were too.
Yeah, but you know, things happen. So, and time happens.
Yeah, that's true.
But I just enjoy the creative process, and so I like to design things. And so, I've been working on a brand called KTF, which is for Keep the Faith, and I think I'm leaning towards just going towards bracelets, just because I mess with
the backpack and the hat, so, like,
I mean,
just make some for me.
I do. I like the backpacks and the hats, but I don't know. It's just like I just love the designing process, and then which God gave me. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
Wait,
I'm a creator, bro.
I'm
God's son.
We're all born with creativity.
Yeah,
it looks different.
This mine's a little bit, you know. No, man, but and then just to watch it, like, manifest into, like, a physical thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I started with these. These are the ones I started with, right?
These are way better. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. These are way better.
Yeah, well, I got some heat coming, bro.
From those?
Yeah. This was like practice.
Okay.
Right? You'll see.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. But because as a kid, I always loved the WWJD bracelets. And I would wear them, and, you know, growing up, you know, me and the Butler crew, we would wear them, and people would always ask, like, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
You know, and then I was like, I like WWJD, but I wish it would say something else.
Yeah.
You know, like, I wanted to say more.
Yeah.
Or something, you know. So I just started.
What does that one say?
This one says, "For you are with me." And so.
See, I think I just like this one because of the way it fits, and, like, you don't. It doesn't take a lot of work to have to put on.
No, yeah.
The way you can write on here. I'm just.
Yeah, but you know, well.
But you're trying to keep it.
People that have complex minds can put this on. No, but yeah, I enjoy it. It's called KTF, KTFbrand.com.
Okay.
Until I'm coming for that KTF.com. You know.
Hey, I feel you, bro. You know what you gotta do.
Well, I appreciate you, man.
Hey, and then Instagram. The K. What is it? What's your name on Instagram?
Instagram is at KTF_brand, and there we go. That's it, man.
Hey, last but not least, any final thoughts that you have for the audience and anybody in general? Any words of wisdom?
God first, and that seems so cliche and so, everybody, God first, but if you intentionally put God first, just watch, and then I dare you to earnestly ask and pray to God to use you, because He will. And just get ready. And it may not be how you want Him to, it may not be your thoughts or your dreams. It may be something crazy, but if you ask Him to use you, He will.
All right, y'all. Well, Michael Fatina, I appreciate it, brother.
Oh, love you, man. Love you, brother.
No, for real, man. Thank you for coming on. Hey, as always, God loves you. I love you. God bless and stay safe. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Peace. Hey, what's up, y'all? If y'all stayed and watched the entire video, clearly you're intrigued in the content. If you haven't already, I would love for you guys to subscribe, like, share, comment below. I would love to get engaged with you guys, what you guys like, what you guys didn't like. Hey, but as always, man, I want to remind you guys, God loves you. I love you. God bless and stay safe. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Peace.